It's the 2020 Shacknews Awards, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell, it's a little different than last year. I'm broadcasting live from 2020 here. But yeah, we couldn't all get together at the office like we did last year. But you know, we're doing our best to recreate the same conversations that we had in 2019 about games, but about the games that came out in 2020 and some that have already been out. So yeah, we have a whole slew of people here. I'm gonna, in no particular order, just because Zoom is weird, I'm gonna just list off who we have here. We have head of video Greg Burke.
Hello.
We have our senior editor Ozzy Mejia.
Hello.
We have our reviews editor Blake Morris.
Howdy.
We have our managing editor Bill Lavoie.
Hello.
We have our long reads editor, fresh out of the long read minds, David Craddock.
Hey, what's going on?
We have our tech editor, Chris Gerard.
Hey, girl.
How you doing? We have the newest member of the team, no longer an intern like he was last year at this time, Donovan Erskine.
What's up?
We have, I think we call you just doer of things, Josh Hawkins.
What's going on, guys?
Still doing things over there.
Still doing things. Never
Nice.
stops.
We have our guides editor, Sam Chandler,
G'day.
beaming into us from Australia. God
Live
knows,
from Australia.
some god-awful hour of the morning. We have actually another member of our team who we've pulled over from GamerHub.tv, Steve Tominski. You may have seen him on the Steve Tendo show.
Yep. How's everybody doing?
And then we have our news editor, TJ Denzer.
Yo.
I think that's everybody. I'm Asif Khan. I'm CEO of the company.
Did you get Chris?
I did get Chris.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
the tech
man.
editor.
Yeah.
we got Chris.
Okay, cool.
I believe that's everyone. So here's I have the gavel. You know, it's kind of interesting. There was no E3 this year. So technically I wasn't an E3 judge this year.
It's true.
Man,
You're
Judge, take off the wig.
judge emeritus. That's all.
I guess, yeah, I got tenure.
Yep. You're
I
good.
was gonna say it carries over.
Okay. Well, fair enough. If there ever is an E3, I'll probably be a judge again. So,
No, there's no room on the bus, Asif, for us anymore at E3 Judges Week. There's no room on the bus. There's only 5 seats.
overruled.
There's 5 seats, and Greg Miller likes to put his feet up.
Man, that was the best. That was the funniest shit I've ever heard. Because I get on the bus.
It's empty.
Okay, since we're already derailing this, last year at Judges Week, we had to go to Activision, not Blizzard, Activision, for a Call of Duty event. And we had Ozzy, myself, and Greg from the Shacknews team. They told us they only had room on the bus for me. I get on the bus, right? Because it's pretty far. Ozzy drove, but it's pretty far from Santa Monica where we were staying.
Infinity Ward, I would say, is about an hour northwest of downtown.
Yeah. So, like, you know, it's a hike. I get on the bus. There's like 40 seats available. It's like me, Mo from Newsweek, like a handful of people, but plenty of room. And out of all the people that should have been at the Call of Duty Judges Week event, Greg Burke was the one. Like, I ended up writing a scathing impressions piece.
Controversial piece, yeah.
And, like, Greg wouldn't have noticed. He would have loved that shit. He sops up all that Call of Duty shit every year. Total sap. And yet, no room on the bus for you, Greg.
Nope, not for me.
That's rough.
But sadly, we won't be talking about Call of Duty this year because it's not very good.
It's true.
What about most overlooked game of 2020? What if we start there?
Good place to start.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone have any opinions on this?
Oh, Marvel's Avengers. Absolutely. That game
How are you gonna
is-
say that a Marvel game is overlooked? That thing had so much marketing behind it.
people?
It may have sucked or it may not have done well commercially.
It may have
They did all those War Table streams and everything. They like tried to
Yeah.
do their version of Night City Wire.
Quickly forgotten and overlooked are not the same.
Yeah, overlooked means that
They
It
literally
weren't-
spent $75 million marketing it.
Jesus, Mr. Mouse likes his marketing.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can't. There's no way that thing was overlooked.
There's another category where I'm going to have more to say about this, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of plans for Marvel's Avengers, and I hope they get to see it through because I don't think we're going to see it all. I'll just leave it at that for now.
I'm not confident.
But yeah, these other ones on here, I'm not sure who put Journey to the Savage Planet, but that's a pretty good one.
Journey to the Savage Planet came out like back in January, and it came and went, which is a shame because I thought it was a perfectly good game. Greg, you played Journey to the Savage Planet, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great. Like, I did Sam's review on it, but I had to play it to get capture footage, and it was fantastic. It was Metroid. I did a feature on it. It's Metroid Prime 3. Like, that's what it felt like. It feels really good.
Nice.
Like, it feels exactly like a Metroid game.
Like a correction to that statement, Greg. I gave you plenty of footage there, mate.
Oh, you did. That's right. Sorry, it's almost a year ago. I don't remember. So he did. I still wanted to play it though because it looked so good.
That was
Yeah,
before
I had a lot of
the
fun playing that.
pandemic hit.
I do I do have a suggestion and argument here. Like, can we talk about how like Nintendo slipped Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics out under the radar? Nobody really like no marketing whatsoever, and it's like maybe one of the most therapeutic games of 2020.
Yeah.
Especially during the pandemic times.
That's just how Nintendo does.
That's what Nintendo do.
It is kind of how they operate. They're just like, here's a game. Kirby Fighters was like that too. But no one
Yeah, but
asked
Kirby
for
Fighters
that.
wasn't any good.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, here it comes.
overruled.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The one that I was sorry to see really come and go, and man, did it come and go in record time, was Rocket Arena.
Yeah.
Rocket Arena I thought was really good for what it was, and people were so harping on the name.
Yeah.
Like, I know Chatty especially was just like, that's not Rocket Arena, and you're right. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the old Rocket Arena, but you know what? It's a damn good shooter for what it is. And
I gave that game a high score in my review, and I stand by that score because, like, I know it's not like what people might have been expecting, but it is extremely it's extremely interesting the way the characters play, the way the game modes are set up. Like, it might be one of the most oddball concepts for a shooter type like arena game that I've seen.
I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think one of the things that really had working against it was EA launched it for like $30, and that's not a $30 game, as evidenced by their price drop 2 weeks later. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Rocket Arena. I think like the player count dropped off within like the first month. Like it deserves better. Is what I'll say about it.
It's really hard to get, like, especially in the games as a service place, to get people off the game they're currently like have hundreds of hours into. It's really hard to pivot them off that to get into a new game. Especially like, it's not a bad game at all. It's actually quite fun. But if everyone's playing Fortnite or whatever, you know what I mean, getting them off that game is extremely difficult. You know, I'm just thinking, what's the one the one that the Gears of War guy did? That did terrible because they couldn't get people off.
Lawbreakers.
They couldn't
We're
get
never
people
gonna have
off.
one of these without bringing up Lawbreakers.
They couldn't get people off
there
Overwatch.
goes my
Overwatch
hair.
was like the king of arena
I know, there
shooters
goes
at
my
the
hair.
time, and they couldn't get him off. So, and then like they went under because of that, you know. So he said in the interview he said like he says there's room for like 2 or 3, but I think there's like room for 2 maybe. Like definitely not 3 anymore.
I think
Right.
you're wrong. But you
That's
have
fine.
horrible taste in shooters anyway, so.
The other one I feel like was really overlooked was Fuser. Harmonix did that's such a cool game from
Fuser.
Harmonix. Like
Fuser is really cool.
Yeah.
the problem with Fuser was they released it like right as next gen was coming out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody was so wrapped up with PS5 and Xbox Series X, nobody realized that Fuser was coming out for all the current gen stuff. And it's so much fun. Like I loved all the mixing. I loved all the intricacies of like making your own mix, and like it turns you into an amateur DJ really fast, and it does it in such a slow, organic, methodical way that you're making your own mixes in no time. And I had so much fun with it, and I'm still having fun with it. So
No,
I wish it had gotten more attention.
I'm with Ozzy. Like Fuser's a blast. Yeah, it's a cool way to kind of sort of wrap your head around like rhythm, tempo, like beats per minute sort of stuff. And like sometimes you just inadvertently make something that sounds super badass, and you can save that.
You can also inadvertently make something really bad, but
yeah,
I was doing that more often than not too.
Oh yeah, you can make some real atrocities, but you can also make some really cool stuff. And it's really turnkey, so that things are gonna blend no matter what you do. So you don't have to worry about like the song's like pitch or key or anything like that.
Also, you can adjust that, and it does show you how to adjust that in such a way that to make it sound like however you want it to sound. So there's stuff in there for like people who know what they're doing, but there's also like a lot of stuff there for people who have never like seen a turntable in their life.
I would nominate Dreams. I recall a lot of press and hype around that game before it came out, and then I didn't even realize Dreams came out this year until someone mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
Sony seemed to be banking on that as a sort of spiritual successor to Little Big Planet, not necessarily for platforming, but just for a user created and generated playground world of content. And I have not really heard anyone talk about it.
Those Media Molecule games, Little Big Planet and Dreams, those seem to come and go so quickly. They don't have the staying power that like a Mario Maker does, and I don't understand why, because everything they do is, they give you all the tools that you need. I've seen so many cool things made in Dreams. I don't understand.
Dreams has cool things, but the staying power there is the same reason why few kart racers gain traction over Mario Kart. It's history. Like, I don't really care about Sackboy or whatever his name is. I think Little Big Planet's a cool game, but like Dreams didn't really have anything. I just don't associate Sony with characters the way I do Nintendo. But yeah, I think that's a big part of the reason Dreams got overlooked. Also, user created anything is kind of in vogue right now, so it's difficult for one game to stand out if it doesn't have Mario in the title, I think.
I think Dreams almost had too much to do. The beauty of Mario Maker is that there are constraints.
You're making 2D platforming levels, and you can derive from those systems, whereas Dreams is, I don't even know where to start here.
You can make a music video in Dreams. You can make like a sketch in Dreams. You can make a game in Dreams. You can make a 3D platformer in Dreams. And like cool. That jump off point is so much more difficult than Mario Maker or other more accessible UGC games.
It is. I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly. And
it's kind of daunting. As someone who like loves user-generated content games, like I should have been into Dreams, and I kind of bounced off of it, not because of I think the tool set is just kind of awkward. But I agree, it was overlooked. I'm gonna add one because Wickus won't shut up about it. Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah. Isn't that just Persona 5?
No, there's like additional content.
And I don't think that was overlooked by the Persona fans. Like they were excited about that.
Yeah, this game
I wouldn't call that overlooked.
Yeah, I think this is overlooked by us. More than
we overlooked it.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention it. Like
on the matter of Dreams, I did want to bring up one thing that people probably forgot about because it was a story very early in the year when it first came out. That game got shot in the foot because Nintendo went at Sony about people creating Nintendo-based content in the game.
That's right.
And then Media Molecule was forced to do some moderation and remove a lot of people's stuff, which soured a lot of people's experience on that game, and I think forced an exodus of some players.
That's a really good point.
Nintendo lawyers were busy this year.
Mm-hmm.
That was early.
And that's kind of the danger of something that's so freeform, is that you get people that want to make, I want to make a Mario in this, and then Nintendo goes at Sony about, we don't want people to make a Mario in that. It's not a Nintendo thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people that are soured by that because you put your work into that, you put your time into that, just for someone to come in and say, yeah, we got to take your creation away because it doesn't fit somebody else's standards.
Honestly, that's the danger of creating any content in a platform that isn't on a PC, really. I think all console user-generated content-based games are in danger of that. I don't know if Nintendo still does this, but with the first Super Mario Maker, they would delete courses that didn't measure up to some metric that only they really understood.
Yeah.
I feel like the moderation on Mario Maker 2 was actually even worse.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
that's-
non-existent and automated, I think,
Yeah.
are the two ways I would describe moderation in the Mario Maker scene. And yeah, David, it was an arbitrary play count based deletion, which is like super disconcerting if you're a creator.
Like I think it is a marketing point to be able to say build your own worlds, but the reality of that is unless you are using a starter type program like Game Maker's Toolkit, or going even deeper and getting Unity or learning Unreal, your work stands a chance of just getting deleted or ignored at best.
I put Paradise Killer on this.
I did. I popped Paradise Kill on that. I've only played a couple of hours of it, but seen a lot of conversation online on Twitter of people just absolutely praising it. I'm not too sure if you guys have all heard much about it. But you basically play the role of a detective investigating an island where a murder has taken place.
I don't even think I've heard of it.
It's very vaporwave.
This is just your through line for Disco Elysium, isn't it, Sam?
Maybe. I know it sounds strikingly familiar.
I mean, it seems like it's a good suggestion since most of us did overlook it.
Yeah.
So I guess if you also want to talk about games that we overlooked, Factorio. I guess we have to talk about Factorio, don't we?
And Diabolical.
Yeah.
Slept on both of those.
Well, we slept on Diabolical. I kind of saw coming with Slasher's posts. Factorio took me by surprise, and I sort of should have seen it coming because I did the 100 greatest Chatty's 100 best PC games of all time, and Factorio cracked that list even though it was in early access. I was really surprised, and that should have told me right there. I'm like, okay, that's gonna make some waves when it goes 1.0. Then it went 1.0 out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh, I guess this is out now. And sure enough, Chatty's raving about it. Like, they love this game, and we slept on it for sure.
Yeah, it's not like, I don't think it's the most overlooked game of the year, but it's definitely one that was overlooked by us for sure. Out of these, is there any? I see Disc Room was also on here. Disc Room's like an indie. It had Devolver backing it. It wasn't like we didn't hear about it. It's also a fine game. Like it's
it's like out of all of these, Disc Room is the one that I was maybe like the most familiar with from launch to release and afterwards. Like, and disregarding Rocket Arena because I reviewed that game, but Disc Room, it's so striking and like comically mean.
Yeah.
Were we talking about like comically mean games? Awesome. We were talking about Spelunky 2 versus what's the other comically mean one that we were talking about?
Well, we were talking about the one that's
Demon
not so
Souls?
comically mean.
Demon Souls,
is
yeah.
Demon
That's the
Souls.
one,
Demon Souls
yeah.
is just plain mean.
It
There's
can
nothing
be
comical
funny.
about
It can be funny. Like, I don't know. I was locked onto a guy on the stairs and like I accidentally strafed off of it and landed.
Yeah, man, I saw that clip. That was on you.
I landed in the middle of 4 dudes.
Yeah.
And they throw a firebomb. They all catch on fire. I catch on fire and I'm dead.
If Disc Room has that kind of comical death, I want to see that. Like, I want to experience that.
I will say this: I got exploded by a bugbear through a wall, and the moment that happened, I stepped back, like thinking, hey, like physics in other games, you put a wall between you and the explosion, and you might be okay. Nope, dead. And the moment that happened, I put down the controller, picked up my phone, and wrote on Twitter, "I'm about to fight Blue Hole."
Blue Point?
Yeah, Blue Point.
Blue Hole? Isn't that PUBG dev?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right.
So, do we have any other nominations for this?
Let me just throw in, TJ, you want to fight From Software because Blue Point actually integrated their code base in.
Yeah.
That's a can
That's
of
on
worms that I'm ready to like go to war over.
Well,
would like to nominate Hunt Down for most overlooked game.
what's Hunt Down about?
Hunt Down, side-scrolling pixel art platformer action game. It's a lot like Blackthorn, but it's got a cover mechanic.
Ooh.
And probably my favorite pixel art of the year, and an outstanding synthwave soundtrack. It's bloody, it's fast, it's fun,
Wow.
funny.
I like the art style.
It got overlooked because everybody hates the Epic Game Store, and it's not on Steam yet, and it won't be until next year.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But my vote is for Dreams, for whatever it counts.
Okay.
Okay.
The argument against Dreams is that it's the accessibility that was the issue, right? Also, that was basically your argument with it. It wasn't very accessible.
But that doesn't affect if it's overlooked or not.
Okay.
I'm saying why I didn't jump into it. It seems like the kind of game that I would be about.
I think a game can be great, but if it's really hard to understand it or get into it, it could definitely get overlooked. I think it could play a factor into that.
What Ozzy said about Fuser kind of resonated with me, and it sort of convinced me to go with Fuser, just because it almost seems like it was through no one's fault, right? Like, it wasn't like they did something wrong, it wasn't like the game wasn't good, it wasn't accessible or anything like that, but it just kind of got buried in the unfortunate timing of console releases.
Yeah, because it launched like right around console launch, right?
Yes.
That to me like screams overlooked, because you can go back and say, well, Dreams, did this wrong because they didn't anticipate whatever. And I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Fuser's timing, but it just feels like that I don't know, this Ozzy's argument, that kind of won me right there when he was talking about the timing of the console releases for Fuser.
I agree with that logic. So Bill, you're gonna vote for Fuser?
Yeah.
I was leaning Rocket Arena, but I'm also going to vote Fuser.
I will third on Fuser. I really dig Fuser.
Fuser by Blake.
I was also Fuser Rocket Arena, but that does make sense, because at the very least, Rocket Arena had the rep and didn't have anything to compete with against like Fuser did. Like,
let me tell you about a little game called PGA 2K21.
Oh boy.
What you don't realize about this is the finest video game golf game we've had in like a decade.
Since PGA 2K20.
I don't know. For some reason, this got me more. The career mode's really good. It runs amazing on PC. It even works on Switch. But yeah, I know it's not going to win, but I'm going to...
It is a good game. My only knocking on it is just it's been the same game. So it's called the Golf Club, but then Take-Two bought them the game from them to put the PGA Tour into it, and then it was re-released with the same game, just with your favorite golfers' faces.
Good on the Golf Club, guys.
Onto it.
Yeah.
I remember that first Golf Club, and I rember Chatty being all about that, like when it first came out.
Yeah, it's
good
like
on those guys for making
the
bank.
core gameplay of this game is very good, and we're gonna talk about PGA more. But yeah, we can get back to the vote. So I guess I'll vote for Fuser because no one else is going to vote for PGA with me.
Well, the fact that like Fuser got the license to so many popular songs is like uncanny to me. Like they have so many hit songs on that.
It's what you do when you pay money for them.
That's just crazy. Like, I mean, it can't be cheap to have that many songs just in
checks
licensing
aren't
alone.
crazy. They cash them and people get the money for them, and then you get to license the song.
They got NCSoft back in them. They should be okay on licensing for a while.
You can mix Call Me Maybe with Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name of.
I've done so many mixes with Call Me Maybe, and they all sound great.
Right? No, that song...
It's the new Guile song.
Jeffrey? Break out, Lucille.
No, for real. That shit is in every single one of my bins. That like you make a bin of records like before.
It's so versatile. You don't think of it until you actually see it.
Oh my god, what happens if you mix Call Me Baby with the Guile theme?
Oh,
it's like
your Nintendo Switch just explodes.
Does Event Horizon? Does Event Horizon have it?
I threw a wish in the well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked at you as it fell, and now you're in my.
It's like what everyone thought would happen when they built the Large Hadron Collider. Like it's just galaxies imploding in on each other throughout the multiverse. Like total, like just like nothing. It's the like life beginning anew. Like,
so Chris, are you voting? You're voting for Hunt Down?
I'll vote for whatever you guys like. I mean, the tough part about this is if nobody else has seen or played these unheard of games, no one,
Yeah, this is a tough category.
Since most everybody's done Fuser, that's probably going to be it.
Okay. Fuser. Donovan, do you have a vote in?
Yeah, I'll throw my head at Fuser.
Fuser. Sam?
I got to stand by what I said with Paradise Killer.
Paradise.
But I appreciate the arguments for Fuser.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to change my vote back to PGA 2K21. Screw you guys.
Just to have it on record.
I think I'm going with Paradise Killer as well.
Oh.
Yeah, Steve, welcome to the club, mate.
I mean, I remember seeing it like on a direct or something, and that's really been it. So
Yeah. It kind of came and went.
I implore you guys to look at the art style of
But
that one. It's,
I agree with what Chris said about Hunt Down. Like, I probably would have downloaded this game if it was on Steam. I would have known about it at least. But Epic does not do that great of a job of promoting the games, especially smaller indie pixel art games like that.
I would like to.
Well, I guess technically it's not indie anymore since Coffee Stain got grabbed by Koch Media. But when it came out, it was indie.
When it came out, it was. So like, they
still
didn't have Koch Media money behind them when they launched.
I would like to
Fuser
put a
credit to Chris because like I own Hunt Down on Epic Games Store and I didn't realize that.
I would like to put a pin in Paradise Killer for best art style to talk about later. So I'll just
Greg,
add
what's
that
your
to
vote?
our nominees.
I have to go with Journey to Savage Planet because I think games in January get really shafted when it comes to Game of the Year awards because everyone forgets about them because it's been 11 months.
Journey to the Savage Planet did get shafted. I will definitely give you that.
Okay, so with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes. Fuser is our Shacknews most overlooked game of 2020.
Now speak, that means sound. With you, I'm a boss, you a worker